Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is boy Sam from Armada Trading here, and today we're looking at Sndl, Sndl Growers Incorporated, and in today's video we're going to be looking at the price action of Sndl, because I see a lot of you Redditors, like on the Sndl Reddit, worried about the price action, the volume, and I'm here to clarify some things within that, and also what my price prediction for Sndl is in the next upcoming days. I'm also going to be talking about the news and the potential legalization of cannabis under the Biden administration. We're going to dive deeper into that. But with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you do, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you do. It really helps the channel out, and I can't thank you enough for the recent support on this channel. It's been absolutely amazing. I can't thank you enough for giving us a voice on this platform. With that being said, let's move on. Before we get into today's video, I just want to say that I'm in no way, shape or form a financial advisor, and please take anything I say with a pinch of salt. I'm simply a university student studying business and management, and that is all. Stocks are battlefields. Be sure to do your own research, your own due diligence before entering into the battlefield. I can only scout the battlefield for you. However, I cannot fight the battle for you. With that being said, let's move on. So, as you all may know, before we get into the analysis of a stock, I always like doing a quick company profile, and I also like going through the shareholder statistics before we get onto the juicy stuff like the financial and analytics and also the graphical analysis. So the company profile of Sndl, just so you all know, so Sndl Growers Incorporated engages in production and marketing of cannabis products for the adult use market in Canada. It produces, distributes inhalable products such as flowers, pre-rolls and vapes. The company offers its products under the Top Leaf Cannabis, Sndl Cannabis, Palmetto and Grasslands brands. Sndl Growers Incorporated was incorporated in 2006 and is headquartered in Calgary, Canada. So that's a quick rundown of what the company is and what it does. And now we'll move on to the shareholder statistics. So in the shareholder statistics, not much has really changed since I last did this. And the last time I did this was probably around almost a month ago now. I haven't looked at Sndl in a while. I know Josh did the last video. However, I have not looked at this stock in a while. And I'm currently not investing in this stock. Just so you all know, and I'm not here to BS you, I'm currently not investing in Sndl, but I will give you my honest opinion and my honest analysis of this stock. So the shareholder statistics suggest that we own 98.45%. So we are going to be a very influential catalyst within the price action of Sndl. There are currently 0.47% of bank/investment bank, 0.44% of hedge fund managers, 0.4% of individual/insiders within the company. So that's people within the company who own shares. 0.06% of family offices, 0.04% of private corporations, and 0.01% of public corporations. So that's what makes up the shareholding behind Sndl, and we'll now move on to the financial analysis. So right now, based on Sndl's cash earnings, their annual cash earnings, and this is from their net cash flow, which I think is probably one of the most important aspects of a financial analytics, because it tells you the fundamentals behind a company, where they're making money or losing money. So I'm here to tell you that Sndl right now in 2020 are currently up by 33.17% from their last financial year, which is very good news. Last year they were at 45.34 million as an end cash position. Now they currently have an end cash position of 60.38 million. So they have consistently gone up even during COVID, which is a very, very strong sign within a company. And, you know, that is one of the catalytic factors as to why I think Sndl could be a very good stock in the future. And also, I believe it is now NASDAQ listed as well. It's been on the market for more than 10 days, or trade above that $1 mark for over 10 days consistently, which is very good news for Sndl users and holders. So that is a very it's going to be a very influential factor of seeing Sndl go up in the future. And what I would say as well is their income statement right now. So let's have a quick look at their income statement. So the annual income statement. Okay, so compared to their 2019 sort of results, their earnings per share has actually gone up. Now, before it was at minus 3.17 as a basic earnings per share, which is very important to bear in mind. Now, the diluted earnings per share as well, they've stayed the same. So currently right now, it is minus 2 for the basic earnings per share, which is a very good sign. So that means that our earnings per share is actually worth more now. So that could signify that there has been either a share buyback or they just haven't been diluting the shares as much, which is a very good sign. Because as you saw in 2018, it was at 0.67, which is a lot better than obviously what this figure is now. However, in 2019, they obviously diluted a lot to raise capital for Sndl and as their company in general. So now that it is going down is a very good sign. And I'm interested to see what happens in the next financial year. And I'll also be looking at their quarterly earnings as well. So if we go to the quarterly of Sundial Growers and we go down, you'll see that the basic earnings per share is currently 0.006, which is a lot better compared to their 0.53 from their previous quarter. So that was Q4 compared to Q3. So they are showing signs of growth, which is a beautiful thing with the company. As you all know, I love it when companies show signs of growth. So Sndl right now financially is looking in a good spot. And now we'll go over to the assets and liabilities because, as you all know, I like looking at that. So this year it has been reported that Sndl's asset to liability ratio it's become better. It has become a lot better. Now, in 2019, as you'll know, they had a very rough year in 2019. They had 510 million assets. They had more assets than what we do in 2020. However, they had significantly more liabilities, which is a very bad sign in the company. You don't want that many liabilities. So what they have done is they have diluted some of their assets to pay off these liabilities, which I think puts them in a lot better stead, because on those liabilities, they'll probably be paying some sort of APR or some sort of percentage increase on those liabilities that they had to take out. So, they managed to pay off the debt and they are now in a good spot. They now only have 25.18 million of debt and they have 294 millions worth of assets. So right now Sndl is at a lot better asset to liability ratio, which in my opinion is very good, because it means that they have the ability to liquidate, or they can liquidate some of their assets in order to pay off future debt, so they can keep raising capital and keep improving their company. Now, another thing as well, this would also improve their current ratio, because their current liabilities right now are currently less than what their current assets are. So, all in all, Sndl right now is looking like a very good buy as a company in general. And we're now going to get on to the graphical analysis. So I have quickly drawn up this golden selection to give you an understanding of what's happening within Sndl and the price action which is correlating with the graph. So what we saw, so this is the lowest point as of recent times. So it was at 0.97, right? And what we saw was we saw a lot of price action, and then we saw it go down. And what happened was we saw this massive rise. Now, whether this was a minor squeeze or not, I have no idea, but I think this could have actually potentially been a minor share buyback, which would be beautiful. And then what we're seeing right now is we're seeing the market consolidated, and we're seeing it gradually go down. Now, this is not a bad sign whatsoever. This is the market correcting itself before potentially we see another increase like this again. Now, as you all know, as I explained in the Shareholder Statistics, price action, the volume being put into this stock, is a very influential factor within Sndl. And I'm here to tell you that right now Sndl's volume is very high. A lot of shares are being traded in between, as you can see down below here. We did see a very big sell-off at this spike, and a lot of people sold, which influences price action as it went down. However, we have seen a lot of sort of equal buying and selling power. That's what we saw where it consolidated here. However, on the 22nd, which was 2 days ago, we saw a lot of we saw a sell-off, and we saw more shares go down consequently. So what we're seeing is, as I said previously, the volume and the people who are buying and selling is very influential in the price action of Sndl, because we own such a large percentage of Sndl as a company. So that is all we're seeing right now, is because people are choosing to buy and people are choosing to sell. So right now, if a lot of people held Sndl and people kept buying into Sndl and kept raising the ask price, or sorry, the buy price, then what I think is going to happen is you're going to see Sndl keep rising, honestly, because I think this company is actually quite undervalued of where it is at the moment, because I think I can see Sndl reaching like new heights in the not so distant future. Now, fundamentally as a company, is it better than other companies I've talked about like CTRM? No, not as a fundamental company. For me personally, I put money in CTRM, but that is my personal choice. However, I can see why people are investing in Sndl, because there is also that potential of a short squeeze. Because I touched upon this before, there is quite a large short interest in Sndl, which there wasn't as much in CTRM. So I can understand why people are getting hyped about this stock, and I can see why people are investing within Sndl. However, this for me is not a stock for me to invest in. I've invested in AMC, I've invested in CTRM, but for me personally, Sndl isn't the one for me personally. But that doesn't mean that it can't be for you, because I can see Sndl reaching heights of $3 again. But there's going to have to be quite a few catalysts for that to happen. Now, we'll get into that very shortly. Now, you may be wondering, what can I see Sndl short term? Now, right now, we're in quite a bearish flag. Like, there's not much bullish action going on within Sndl right now. However, what I can see happening is as soon as it reaches this endpoint of this flag that I drew up, as you see, I've got like probably around 4 or 5 touch points on the level of support, and I have at least 4 points of resistance at the top. So this is a good indicator as to where this stock could go. Now, what I think is going to happen, now don't quote me on this, I'm not a financial advisor, this is my analysis, but what I can see happening is once it goes through this flag here, I'm wondering, I think what could happen is we could see a bit of bullish action again. And I could see this potentially going up to 1.5. Now, what I can see happening is it creating a new support structure, potentially at 1.4, 1.3, which if that happens, that'll be very good. Because as we saw a lot of positive, we just saw a lot of like sort of level action for a while. We haven't really raised much above this $1 mark. Now, obviously we have been above the $1 mark, which is important, but we haven't seen much like sort of price action. We haven't seen a lot of volatility within the market. So what I can see happening is I can see Sndl going up in the not so distant future. Maybe, what day are we today? Wednesday. So potentially Monday, we could see some bullish action again within this stock, because there is a lot of potential here. And I'm not really understanding where these financial earnings, like why people are so like concerned with their financial earnings, because in my opinion, the company seems to be doing well, unless I'm missing something. If I am, let me know down below, because from what I can see, this company's looking good. Like I have no, I don't have any flaws right now with this company, apart from potentially the amount of volume within the market. Because what could happen is what's their market cap right now? 2.01 billion shares. So that's a lot of shares. That is a heck of a lot of shares, actually. So that could be why people are a little bit concerned, because they maybe keep diluting shares. But their earnings per share has gone up. So they haven't diluted very recently. They did in 2019, clearly. But within this year, it seems to be good. It seems to be good last year, sorry. And this year, I mean, I haven't seen anything of them selling or like diluting any more shares. So right now, I think Sndl is in a good spot. But we will go over to some of their recent news and we'll talk about this more. Okay, so as you all can see here from the San Francisco Chronicle, this article was released, I believe, sometime in February. Hold on, let me check. 11th of February, 2021. So in the day of history and hope that President Biden articulated in his inaugural speech, many in the cannabis industry hoped this new administration would absorb the words from our American treasure, Amanda Gorman, who told us what just isn't always justice. Right, so nothing makes the young poet's point better than the federal government's cannabis policy is itself a monumentum to injustice. So pretty much what to say. So we know that President Biden's immediate focus needs to be on the nation's crisis agenda, turning back to the pandemic, restoring our economy and repelling the attacks on our democracy. We only expect that once the administration gains the upper hand in the American renewal, it can find the time and create a space to unwind the drug war, starting with rethinking of national cannabis policy. So because everyone has been inside, right, and to help them go back outside and back into the real world again, what they may do is they may legalize cannabis, because cannabis could be used in recreational ways to actually help people. So you may have had people who were addicted to stuff like heroin and, you know, other very strong drugs during, like, whilst people have been at home, because they've been in the comfort of their own house all the time. So they probably got bored and probably experimented with a few things, let's be honest. So what may have happened is Biden is now, what Biden could do is he could legalize cannabis to help them sort of get back into society and get back in the flow of things, so it's not a shock to the system, or not too big a shock to the system, if that makes sense. So I think the legalization of cannabis could happen in a not so distant future, actually. I reckon this could happen potentially this year, honestly, maybe summer, who knows. If COVID goes quickly, then they may actually turn their attention to maybe legalizing cannabis to help that transition phase back to society and to get the public back on board again. So it could be a smart move for Biden, and I wouldn't be surprised if this actually happens, potentially around June to August. However, this is just speculation. I'm throwing dates out there. I have no idea, honestly. This is all to do with Biden and his administration. So, you know, I'm not the president of the United States. I wish I was, but I'm not. So, you know, always just keep on track with all of that. Now, before we end today's video, I just wanted to have a quick look at Sndl's short volume ratio, because it's very interesting. And as I mentioned previously, it could be susceptible to a short squeeze, potentially. Not definitely, but potentially, right? So what we have seen is a short volume ratio to, like, most recently that was reported yesterday at 31%, which is high. Anything above 20%, even 10% is considered high, but anything above 20% is considered very high. And right now, Sndl's short volume ratio is currently 31%, with a short volume of 83 million shares and the market volume of 265 million. So what do I think could happen? This could potentially spark a small short squeeze. Now, because there aren't a massive amount of volume, and because Sndl's price action is actually low, it's not going to be a massive short squeeze. However, I can see a short squeeze nonetheless. And if that squeeze happens, Sndl could reach... Now, because there's a high market volume, and I know people say that market volume doesn't influence the short squeeze. However, it sort of does, because obviously the amount of shorts that are being taken out is an influential factor, right? So 83 million is the amount of shares they have to buy back. Now, depending on whether people hold, whether they sell, that is completely up to the user. And if people keep holding the line strong with those 83 million shares, then they will have to eventually buy back these shares. Now, whether it goes up by a large amount, I can't see that happening, because the market volume has an effect on it. Because there's only 83 million shares that are shorted, which sounds a lot. However, when the market cap of Sndl is currently at 1.6 billion, I think I said it was before, like, that's not really much of the grand scheme of things. So you have to take into account, is it going to really explode? Now, I can see it going to $10, but I feel like people will sell at around the $10 mark. And if that happens, then I can't see it going up much more than $10. And please don't slaughter me in the comments, because this is completely my analysis. But always have your own opinions. If you don't agree with something that I say, please leave it down below and tell me why. Like, there's no good saying, oh, like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. Well, tell me. You tell me why I'm wrong. And I can then answer back with a reply as to why you think I'm wrong. And, you know, we can have a bit of a back and forth in the comments. It is all about our opinions and our own due diligence on a stock. So, you know, always take that into account before, you know, just commenting willy-nilly down below. With that being said, that is going to do it for today's video. Sorry to end on a negative, but I have had a few comments like that, and I just wanted to address that. So, with that being said, thank you for watching. This B-Boy Sam from About Trading. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. See you next video on the channel. Take care, everyone.